So let's press the start streaming. We'll see if that changes, if any audio came up, whatever. Good, there we go. Okay, popped up. Alright, so now we're seeing our stream that we're doing right now, which is just replay test. So let's open that up. Let's play this. There you see we're on ACC. Now let's put on the toggle here. And let's change to a better view here. We'll get past the formation lap. There we go, and then we can start going through the different drivers, whatever. You're on board with me right now, the number 16 Porsche 992 GT2 car. We've got a plethora of people behind us. This was the reverse grid round 2 from Parc Ferme race last night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys are into some good racing, you want to join, hit us up. Comment on the video, whatever, tell me what's going on, and then we can get you in. So, ooh, big tussle behind. Look at that. 4 wide almost right there coming into turn 1 at Red Bull Ring. Everybody sorts themselves out. So I've got a Maserati of, I think it is Jason behind us there. And we've got an Audi pressing already, which is Dirty Randy right there up the inside cleanly. So you go wide, oh, a little bit of slide. Cold tires on this track with no tire blankets, no tire warmers, whatever, is really hard on lap 1. So Dirty Randy now up to second place, and we've got Dominic Chamont behind in that KTM, getting used to that car. He's never driven, I don't think. And then we got the it's Robert Almeida right behind in the yellow Maserati, always driving with his hazard on. By the way, he is a Florida native, so that explains a lot. So you're welcome. And then we have Friday here, and then Friday in the Podium Hunters KTM, the number 225. And then right behind him, we've got Andre Lloyd in the ORC Black Ghost Racing Maserati in the ORC colors. And we've got, oh, everything's throwing a wobbly now as everybody catches up. All right, so that's Phil and LP Racing in the Audi right there, the black and red. Also driving with Podium Hunters, I believe. And then we've got Miguel Quintero, I think, Miguel. Sorry if I butcher your name there. I'm trying to remember offhand. Driving with his hazards on as well, taking a page from Florida Man's. So he's in the Mercedes. Hard car to drive here, by the way, I think. So kudos to him for driving that. And then we got Felix Vaillant in the ORC Podium Hunters Racing. Dual team citizenship, apparently. Driving behind in the Audi. He loves that Audi. Representing the ORC colors right there with the green and the blue and a little bit of black. So defensive posture and overtaking posture from the Mercedes there, but has to pinch that corner. But let's see if the Mercedes catches back up. That's the huge thing where the Mercedes has a tons of speed. So he doesn't overtake the KTM, interesting enough. That KTM is so light. I think it's so easy to throw around in the corners and everything. Typically running very low wing, and it still gets around. That helps with the speed. It doesn't need the wing, it's so light. Oh, Mercedes up the inside on the dirty part of the track. Ooh. Pinches it, and because of that allows Felix to come alongside, but Felix runs wide. Oh, it spins out. So Felix won the first race, that's why he was starting in the rear. I do believe, if I remember correctly. I didn't get the first race replay, so Felix back on track. Let's see, so we've got a gap here between a Nim and a Phil behind in the Audi. That's interesting. It's gonna close up here really quick. Audi versus Maserati, or vice versa, depends on how you want to say that. Got quite a gap between the guys in front and 4/10 behind, so a little bit of playing room for them. Oh, sorry, this is Lloyd right here. We're on board with Andre Lloyd. I don't know why it shows. Oh, I moved my mouse, that's why. So Andre Lloyd versus Phil. And then it looks like Robert or Almeida. We'll just use last names. How about that? Almeida in front of him in that yellow Podium Hunters Maserati. It looks like most people opting for the Maserati or the KTM and the Audi, actually. So the only Porsche is myself, and the only Mercedes is Quintero. So he's down in, looks like ninth place. I'm still in first with almost a 3 second, or 2.5 second gap up ahead. You can see me right there in the shot. Let's go on board with Chamont and see if he puts any pressure on um, Dirty Randy in the Audi in front of him. Actually, talking to Randy after the race, after the first race, he mentioned that he had played with the aero a little bit because he was getting killed on the straights in that Audi. So the second race, he mentioned he brought the aero down a lot. So that was good to see him making adjustments and see it working really well for him here. Making that crucial move up into second place in the first opening laps there. Everybody's braking lines here to see that. So this is my first time driving the Porsche here. We'll go on me for just a minute. It's my first time driving the Porsche here, or actually anywhere, the GT2. I do like it. It sounds really awesome. I do notice its weakness is really the brakes. It could be my braking profile. It could be the way that I brake in particular. Equipment-wise, just so everybody knows, I am on the Logitech G920, so pretty weak, as far as that, a very entry-level rig or steering wheel and equipment to start with. And I think that's probably the biggest complaint is obviously the low force feedback on the tire rim itself. It's only got 2.5 Newton meters max, and it's got a belt-driven system, so there's a little disconnect there sometimes because the belts there's dual belts, there's two of them, but it has to kind of in that transition from left to right, it has to kind of belt has to take over, and there's kind of a switchover period, so there's kind of a lag in between left to right quick succession corner. I don't mind it actually too much, to be honest with you. I think it's okay. I think it's a great starting point. It's definitely cheap enough. It's only about $300, $250, something like that. But the biggest complaint I think everybody says is the potentiometers in the pedals themselves. That's the biggest complaint. So that's kind of, I think most people agree that you could get a load cell pedal, and that would probably increase your times a lot more. But you kind of adapt to it. I kind of adapted to it. I made my own kind of version of load cell with a little bit of foam, a little bit of sponge at first, and then I graduated and found, weirdly enough, I found Nerf ammo. So not the long darts, but the little ball. They're a little for the hyper Nerf hyper. I got these little round balls and put them in between the springs, and that helped tremendously. So it gives me better pedal feel, mimics a load cell, kind of how it gives you compression, but then loads up a little bit. So I find the pedals kind of okay now. I did have an issue with the potentiometers, and I actually they come disconnected because the wires are just very cheaply put on there. They're not soldered or anything like that. So I ended up soldering them together, and ever since then I haven't had an issue. There's me knocking on wood. So I don't know, we'll see. But long story short, I think they're okay to start, and then eventually move on if you want to progress in sim racing. But a great for a weekend warrior, great for showing somebody just playing around. Grand shows with 7, Forza, stuff like that would be great with the Logitechs. But we see that gap opening up to Randy behind at 3 seconds now. So let's go on board with Dominic Chamont now, who's actually fighting. Looks like with Andre Lloyd right now. Andre going to the outside, Dominic defending that, and Almeida has got past. So let's see, Rob Almeida now in 3rd place, Dominic Chamont in 4th, Lloyd in 5th, Brown in 6th, Quintero in 7th, Friday in 8th, Lapointe in 9th, and Paillant in 10th. Ooh, almost a dive up there. I thought that was going to be happening, but it opens up the door actually to the Audi behind Friday, who actually gets a little squirrely and can't take advantage of that. So good defense from Chamont here in that green and black KTM. That's the Parc Ferme KTM. He has MZR Motorsports as the whatever read on there. I don't know what that's from, as that's made up, or that's the company. I don't know. In-game company. It's probably in-game livery. I don't think he changed it or edited it, possibly. But yeah, that was a good battle for a second when we just came on board here. And now let's look at some of the gaps here. You can look up in the top left there. We've got some gaps here. 3.5 seconds to 2nd place. We're on board with 3rd right now, which has a, there you go, 1 second gap back to Randy in 2nd place there. So we have Porsche in first, Audi in second, Maserati in third, KTM in fourth, Audi in fifth, Maserati in sixth, Mercedes in seventh, KTM in eighth, Maserati in ninth, and Audi in 10th to round out the grid. Again, second race, round two of Parc Ferme, 9 p.m. Easterns. If you guys are interested in joining, and you do have some racecraft, it's okay if you're slow. That's not something we're worried about when we do these races. We're more interested in people that are interested in getting faster. We definitely offer some coaching. We've got some fast drivers here. Dominic Schaman is an amazing example of that. Robert Almeida, Phil Brown, Lloyd, Felix Payant, a lot of good drivers Friday. Dirty Randy's new to our league, actually, coming over from F1 and now doing some tin top racing, as we call it, GT3, GT2, touring cars, stuff like that, in ACC. Ooh, a little wide there from Chamont. But he's actually progressed really nicely. He loves the Mustang. That's his go-to car. He's been really good in it. It really suits his driving style in favor. Oh, Dominic Chamont, a little bit too much curb. And just slides there. Is that gonna? No, actually, it does not. That's crazy. That was such a big slide, and I think Brown's eyes there probably got enormous in his head when he's just looking at that. But he could not capitalize it. But it has brought them all together, and now Brown is under serious attack from Lloyd behind. So now these three drivers. Oh, really wide for the front two of front. Thomas Chamont. I don't know about that line. Oh, dang! A little bit of tag there on Brown from Lloyd. Lloyd's going to wait up for him, obviously, just a mistake of that. But very interesting to watch that all come together there. Yeah, there goes Lloyd waiting for Brown. Brown gets ahead again. And now that's Chamont off the hook, so he's actually taken off into the distance here. Let's see, we've got him going up right now. Still on back of Almeida, who has actually closed up on Randy a lot. I don't know what Randy's last name is. He put in his name is Dirty Randy, so I don't think his first name is Dirty though. And he's actually a dirty driver, so it's interesting choice of names for him. But now Almeida's right on the back of him. Maserati versus the Audi. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, we got some security alerts. That's what that. Take care of that later. Let's see if Almeida can really put that pressure on. Let's go to the cockpit cam for him. We can see what he's looking at. Really patient on the throttle there from Almeida. Not really attacking, I don't think, as much as he probably could, maybe. This car is really forgiving. I usually drive the Maserati. I decided to drive something new this time and force myself. See a little bit of a rubber banding there from the game. Second gear, coming up the hill, get on the power. A little wide there, so he can't capitalize. Looks like Randy got a good drive off that. So I don't think he's going to defend. We'll see. Normal brake lines, normal lines for everybody. It's the fastest way through and the best way to lose time. Defend when you don't have to. That's always a contentious thing to talk about, and a lot of people have different versions of that, but my opinion personally is 2/10 to 3/10 is when you start thinking about defending, but always know that it's going to slow you down, so it depends what your goal is. If you do have a faster driver behind, and you think that it's going to get dangerous, especially on a track like this, so it's hard to overtake, you kind of almost want to just let him go, especially if you're in a position not in first. You know, you might want to just let him by, follow him, and help you draft up to that first place position, similar to what we're looking at now with this. Yeah, so we're on board with Almeida right now, looking at the back of the Audi of Randy. And Dominic Chamont is 2.6 seconds behind. And then behind that is, actually the Mercedes has moved up. Let's take a look at that really quick. He's moved up a couple positions, I noticed. It was probably from that Phil Brown, Andre Lloyd coming together right here in the last corner, right where Mercedes is coming through. So let's go back to our Cinemat cams and see what's going on with these guys again. Alright, Brown's a little bit ahead now, and Friday is now in front of Lloyd. We missed that transaction. where Friday went up. Not sure. I mean, obviously Lloyd is going to be carrying a little bit of front end damage, just that light tap, and Brown's going to be carrying a little bit of rear damage. Looked like it was front left of Lloyd into the right rear of Brown. And nothing sinister. Obviously, they got eyes wide from going off track with Chamont in front and Brown going wide, and then looks slowdown, or no, that wasn't a slowdown. Something misshift maybe from Friday, and Lloyd just sails right by, and now he's in danger of losing it to Payon. Yeah, ooh, that's very strange. I wonder what's happening. Let's go on board with Friday in the cockpit, and let's rewind that a little bit. Let's look at the inputs in particular here. On throttle the whole time right now. Weird. I wonder, you know what, he was mentioning something in the race. He turns in a little bit, doesn't know Felix is going to come up the inside until now, and has to turn around to avoid, but it might be a fuel map. I think it was a fuel map issue. And that slowed him down a lot, because yeah, you saw he was on the gas fully, and they were just catching him like crazy. And now LaPointe is coming up behind, and that black, white, and red outing, and does overtake him. So yeah, Friday just lost like 4 positions in the span of half a lap here, quarter of a lap. So let's see what happens with that. Let's see. I got 20 minutes in, okay. So a little bit of time left here. We got 10 laps into the race. The lead still stays the same with me in the lead there. We have Almeida now in 2nd place. We missed that one actually, looking at the other stuff. Randy's now in 3rd place. Chamont in 4th. We got Quintero in the Mercedes in 5th. We got Brown in the Audi in 6th. Lloyd in the Maserati in 7th. LaPointe now in 8th in the Maserati. Friday is in 9th. Oh, what happened to Payon? Did he go in the pits? I wonder if he had some kind of accident or something. Did we miss that too? It's hard to keep track of all this unless I go through and write it all down and then do the commenting on it, but that's okay. We'll get it for next time. We'll do that. Do a little bit of reconnaissance. But yeah, Felix now finds himself in last place. He won the first race, and then now he's in last place, 1 lap down, it looks like. I say something definitely happened to Felix. I wonder if we can see. Laps look like they're pretty close together, except for lap 2 and lap 3. That's where he lost that time when we saw he went off track. But I don't see anything other egregious on the replay timeline. All right, well, let's look and see at our battles. Look and see, we've got Brown now on the back of Quintero in the Mercedes. Just 3/10 behind now as they cross the line going to turn 1. So he's not going to be able to outdrag the Mercedes up this. The Mercedes notoriously has a lot of grunt, and he's got his hazards on to warn him that of something. And rain light on, looks like. He's got everything on. Let's see what Phil does with this. Here, let's go with the cockpit cam here and look at this. Ooh, both get a little squirrely off that. I think Phil tried to pinch that line just a little bit and try to get on the gas. I think see some of the inputs on the right side there if you're wondering and curious what each of the drivers are doing in the cockpit. Ooh, real heavy on the brakes. It closes up under brakes on that, but maybe a little too aggressive, maybe a little too late on brakes. This could be a little bit of reconnaissance on Brown's part to find out where the Mercedes is weak or where that driver is maybe losing a little bit of time compared to himself. So he's scoping it out right now. Goes a little wide there on the curve. Settles the car to spit. Oh, a little real wide there too. So Phil, my boy, it looks like you are overdriving the car just a little bit, trying to catch up to that guy. we'll see. See if he settles down just a bit and tries to be a little more patient on the throttle, on the brakes. Mercedes trying to break the draft. Interesting. He's still gaining though, so it doesn't matter. That's where we had a problem last time for both cars, getting on the gas too much while the car was, there you go, much better for both of those drivers on that one. So in that corner, because the car gets so unweighted going up and over that crest, and because it's a right-hand corner, so the tire load is all on the left side, if you get on the gas too much with too much steering lock, it really wants to get away from you. So that's a very tough corner. Looks like he's got a great drive out of this one. Looks like the Mercedes is going to defend. Is he going to be able to carry the speed along the outside? He can be done, but it's a tight, decreasing radius corner right here. So he waits and waits and waits. Good. So he's still next to him, I imagine. Yep, gives him room. They're side by side. There you go. Mercedes just appeared a little bit. I don't see him in the rearview mirror yet. So they're still alongside. There he is. All right, successful pass against the Mercedes. Let's see what the Mercedes can do to rally back. All right, so let's go on board with the Mercedes now. Let's watch this chase. Let's see if he can give him a run. Phil's giving him the signal to go to the right, which is weird because it's backwards. Ooh, opens up the door a lot. Now the Mercedes is going to come up. Let's see if he gets the drag. They should be able to claw some of this back because the Mercedes, like I said, is a beast in a straight line. Yeah, right there. Flashes the lights. Lets them know he's coming up the inside. But Mercedes has to really be careful now on the brakes and not try to push it too much. Yeah, a lot of respect shown between these two drivers right here. And Brown still has that right blinker on, which to me means he's going to go to the right, but I'm not sure if that was an indication for the Mercedes to go to the right, which I always hate the way that international drivers seem to do that a lot in real life. It bothers me. In real life, if you want to go to the right, you put the right blinker on. You don't get somebody to pass you on that side, but whatever. Tomato, tomato. But it looked like it was a good battle from both of those guys right there coming through. So we've got, looks like Lloyd behind now, catching up a little bit because of their fighting. So it might give him a chance to get back into one of those higher positions. We got 13 laps in. How much time we got left? Let's look down at the ticker. All right, so we got one more lap left actually. So we're almost done. So the lead still stays with the same. Myself in the Porsche. Looks like Almeida has climbed up a little bit in that last couple laps, and now 1.8 seconds behind me. And then we've got Randy behind that at 3 seconds. Ooh, a little squirrely there as we catch him coming out of turn 1. And then we got Brown. Oh, it's already ended. Okay, that was the end. And that's how it's going to finish, guys. So everything on the left there. So let's go through them again. So we got 5th place with Chamont, and we got Quintero there in 6th place. We got Lloyd in 7th, and we got Lapointe in 8th. Friday crosses the line right there in 9th place, and we got Payon, who's already in the pits there, so he's already finished in 10th place. So there you go. There was our Tuesday night fun we had at Parc Fermé. Again, 9 p.m. If you guys are interested, definitely hit us up. Comment on the video. We can give you some details to join the Discord server. Really fun group to race with. We do operate a little bit on what's called the gentleman rules of racing, which is, if a mistake happens and you run into the back of somebody, hit somebody off road like that, and you feel like it's your fault 100%, or even maybe 50-50, then we will slow down, wait for you to pass again, and then resume the battle. So we definitely don't want to beat somebody by punting them off. That's definitely not the goal. So let's window this. Let's get to our streaming software stuff, and let's edit everything. So thank you guys so much for joining. Comment on everything, and we'll see you next time.